So people who know me and have had some tri-tip roast, they've said, wow, you know, you cook that tri-tip and you do not flip it over. No, I do not. So that is a method called indirect heat, and I love to do it with the charcoal and the pecan chips to give it that kiss of smoke. So that's what we're going to learn today. Just kind of observe how to do a tri-tip roast over charcoal using the indirect heat method. So here's the rub, and this is no joke. I used the Montreal steak seasoning and about an equal part of brown sugar. Throw them in a blade style coffee grinder. And blend it together. That'll cut the tremendous amount of salt in that Montreal steak seasoning, and it'll be good. Okay, so I typically buy a untrimmed tri-tip, which means that the butcher has not trimmed a lot of the fat off of it. It's cheaper by the pound, but you're also paying for the weight of the fat. But muscle does weigh more than fat, so maybe it's not so bad. But I like to control the amount of fat on it myself. Typically, I will take and trim this off to where it's maybe somewhere between 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch, because that fat cap is going to be where all the juicy and flavor is, and you are going to season that, and when you place it on the grill, it's going to be fat side up, so it'll be like self-marinating. The fat will drip down onto the rest of the meat and carry the flavor with it. I like it right about there. Some thick portions. You know, definitely you can use a trimmed tri-tip. Just make sure to the upside is going to be the one with the most amount of fat. So we'll sprinkle that rub mixture that we hit in the coffee grinder on the lean side, and then we'll go ahead and rub it all out through the fat side as well. Okay, and there's the fat side all rubbed out with the seasoning. How long should you leave that on there? Well, at this point I'm really going to go prepare the coals, and when the coals are ready, I think that's sufficient amount of time. You can do it a little differently. You can leave it on longer, an hour, whatever. The salt is going to draw the moisture from the meat, so it'll start looking on the wet side, and then but that may give you a little crust. But anyway, in my opinion, you just need to prepare the meat and then go get the coals ready, and that's sufficient time. Okay, so anyway, I like Weber charcoal grills. You can use whatever you have. This is a older Weber Performer. I'm just using the old Kingsford here. You can use whatever you like. I've got a chimney starter here, and this particular Weber has a propane powered briquette starter. So give that a rip here. So one of my things, I like to use pecan chips. You can use hickory or mesquite or whatever you want, but I found pecan to be a happy medium. Doesn't matter what brand it is, as long as it's pecan chips. Put it in a coffee can and soak it. Okay, so without further ado, we'll get right into it. The charcoals are ready, and as you can see, I've divided them off using these nice Weber charcoal dividers. I put a aluminum pan in the middle with about 1 inch of water or so. I'll get the grill grate set and put the tri-tip on. So I've got the tri-tip on there. You can see I've got these swiveled grates, and I have put some of those soaked pecan chips on both sides, and just let it go right there. So notice the position of the tri-tip. You got the fat, the thickest end, towards you, because later you're going to be sticking a meat thermometer in that, and so you want to get a pretty good reading. So we will go ahead and put the lid on this thing and let it go for at least 45 minutes before we check it again. Okay, so there we have the pecan chips smoking away in there, doing their job, and they will just burn up and leave that kiss of smoke flavor behind. So we'll check on them in a little while. Okay, so there she is. Got a little bit of a barbecue bark on her. Now, of course, you can make it as rare or as well as you like. My family likes it more done. You can certainly check the internal temperature and, you know, pull it out, pull it off, whatever you like.